This is the Coach John Walsh pregame show with John Piper and Rik Thrailkill, only on the Denton Guyer Football Radio Network.
Welcome to another segment of the Coach John Walsh Show. This is brought to you by Lantana Eye Care and Pro Care Collision. Good evening, Coach, and thanks for sharing your time with us again this week. What an all-around great game last weekend. The defense dominated, and the offense really just rolled up on them. I have to admit, no matter how well we've been playing, I do think we're peaking at the right time. I think so do a lot of other people. I never expected to see such a one-sided game like that. What were your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you, my thoughts were I was extremely pleased with our defense, and I felt their momentum coming off the Arlington game. Arlington was a pretty good balanced run attack, throw attack from the spread offense, and we really shut down their run, and then really shut down everything about their offense. So I really felt the momentum going into it. And if you know anything about Derek Ramsey and the history of Dyer High School since 2008 when he took over, is we play really good run defense. And I don't care what kind of scheme you throw at us. If you major in the run and you're going against Coach Ramsey, you're going to be in a bind. And my roots are triple option. I was a wishbone coach my first 2 years of my career, so I had my roots are that. So I was really into hearing what Coach Ramsey had. Usually I just stay out of the way. It's like we have two head coaches on staff, and I just stay out of the way. But this week I was just kind of intrigued what they were doing. And real quick, like on Monday, I realized we had a great plan and they were going to be in good shape. And then the game just went like I thought it would. I thought we would, I think our defensive front is playing really good. And I knew we stopped the quarterback and then we tried to go to the pitch. And then we had a great, Coach Ramsey made a couple of great adjustments during the game on attacking their pitch. So I was extremely, extremely excited. So excited that I'd never take my cell phone out to the game, but I grabbed my cell phone at halftime. And if that third quarter went like that first half went, I text every reporter from DRC to Fox to whoever and said, I will do no interviews. You will interview Coach Ramsey after this game.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, Coach, you mentioned, all the work that Coach Ramsey puts in, game planning, his defense getting ready for the opposing team's offense. I mean, I see it firsthand. He's a lot of times the last one to leave the coach's room up there. But like you mentioned, the defense really stepped up this past week and basically just stuffed them. I mean, I know you employed some unconventional alignments. You went to a 4-4, and it really paid off for having that extra linebacker in there. Tell us a little bit about Westfield, and will we see more of a normal defensive alignment this week? I'm sure you've gotten the game plan from Coach Ramsey by now.
Yeah, so they're a one back offense. The running back he's a touchdown waiting to happen. He runs a 10-4, and it's on that direct athletics where you run an AccuTrack or automated 10-4, which is fast for anybody who doesn't know the track times. So everything runs through him, then the quarterback, the sophomore, does a great job of throwing the deep ball, does a great job of throwing in routes. And so that makes you get back to a two safety shell and play the defense that you've been playing all year long. And it's opened us back up. But I think Coach Ramsey's going to have a great plan again.
Yeah, you're talking about Kendall Taylor, really an undersized back, 5'9", 172 pounds, but last week against Jesuit ran for 204 yards. And, he's got offers from Texas Tech, Houston, I think 8 other offers. So definitely a talented back. And obviously if the defense can key in on him and just slow him down a little bit, you got to like the odds of a Guyer victory.
Yeah, you can't let that young man get into third gear. I mean, he's going to get the ball, which is in first gear, and then he's going to get the second level sometime. But you can't let him get past second level, because if he gets past second level, the history has shown through 14 games this year that no one in Texas can catch him. So our job is to make sure he just can't break it through second level, and we've really worked hard on not giving that young man a crease. to get going.
Well, Westfield comes in with a 13-1 record. Their only loss to Galena North Shore, which is still alive in the Texas high school playoffs. They're averaging 38 points a game. This switch gears a little bit. Offensively, Geyer completely dominated last week. What can we expect from the Westfield defense? I know they're led by Dylan Peavy, their senior linebacker. He's one to watch. And they're only allowing, Coach, get this, and I'm sure you got this stat imprinted there on the board, only 8 points a game they're allowing their defense. Pretty stout.
Yeah, so when I got back Saturday night from the Star, I went home, showered, came back, and I wrote 1 through 14 on my whiteboard, and I put the number of points they've allowed in week 1 and week 2 and week 3. So that stat that you got, I wrote it Saturday on my board, and I've been staring at it since Saturday night. And they played some good people. Like I said, North Shore, Jesuit who beat Longview, and so they've been battle tested. And then if we talk about Spring Westfield for the 2019 season, we can talk about their tailback and their quarterback throwing the ball, but they are built around their defense, and they're built around their defensive line. They got a guy, Booker, that's committed to Boise State. He's a DN, and they got a D tackle going to Navy. They got a young sophomore that all these colleges are coming through this week talking to me about, that he's the next big thing there. And their history is the number 1 draft pick. I don't know where he plays right now. I watched him play there night on TV, but Ed Oliver was the number 1 defensive tackle taken in the draft last year. Is from Spring Westfield. So they got some tradition down there in the trenches, and they definitely build their program around that defense, especially that defensive line.
Yeah, the way they match up across the line, not quite as big as your big uglies on the offensive side, but athletic. You mentioned Nick Booker, the senior, 6'1", 245, Boise State commit. Anthony Holmes, that sophomore, big kid, 6'2", 245. Tim Hardman, a senior, 5'11", 265, committed to Navy. And then rounding out their other defensive end, William Hatter, 6'2", 235. So very athletic front four there, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and they play strong. They're not 270 like the Cedar Hill kids were, but they play as strong as the Cedar Hill kids. So we got a work cut out for us. They don't give up many points. We score a lot of points, so it ought to be entertaining.
Well, Coach, this is something that the fans want to know about. I was texting you after, I guess, over the weekend, trying to understand where we might play. And so I'm just going to let you break it down in the lowest common denominator about this whole coin toss. Not really a coin being tossed, and then how you determine the location. Hey, a lot of people want to know, hey, why are we headed to Houston? Well, obviously, you lost the flip, and we'll just say a flip because it's not really a coin toss. So if you could explain to the fans this whole process as we get down to
Yeah, and I hope we get a lot of listeners, because I've gotten lots of texts and emails that I haven't been able to return on asking why in the heck we're going to Houston to play a semifinal ball game against someone from Houston. So here it is in a nutshell. I'll try to talk fast. That coach wanted to play at a neutral site, and his neutral site was going to be Belton, which was either Belton High School or Mary Hardin Baylor Crusader Stadium, which both are nice places. Well, when you put it in your Waze, which is the maps that I use, it was going to take us 2 hours and 50 minutes to get to Belton. And then I put it into his home stadium, which is going to take us 3 hours and 50 minutes. That's an hour difference. So if I was going to get on a bus and have to travel to play, which we never do in the Metroplex, then I would rather take a shot at having a chance, a 50-50 shot at playing at C.H. Collins or the Star again. And so he was wanting to go neutral because he didn't want to travel to Denton or the Metroplex. And I didn't mind traveling to Belton or Houston. I didn't care. And I wanted a 50-50 shot of staying at our place for our fans. And so instead of flipping a coin and getting on FaceTime or whatever you do, flip a coin, here's how you do it. I'll say a town, and you say odd or even, and you're saying odd or even for the last number of the 5-digit zip code. And so he wanted neutral, I wanted home neutral. So we're going to flip on it. So who wins that? And I said a town, which was odd, and he said even, so I won, which means we're going to flip Dallas for Houston now. And then he said a town, and I said odd, and it was an even, so I lost. So we were going to Houston. So I won the first flip, but I didn't win the most important flip, and that was to bring them to Dallas instead of us to Houston. So that's kind of how it went down. I'll never change my philosophy. If I'm going to travel more than 2 hours somewhere, I'd shoot flip home and home and try to get them up here.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree with that for sure.
Yeah, I would think so. It makes sense to me, but sometimes things that make sense to me don't make sense to somebody else.
Well, hey, how was Belton determined the neutral site? Is that something you both had to agree on as well?
Yeah, just a lot of, and I usually I've gone through the playoffs over the last 12 years of not having to flip much because we just get along and we agree. And not that me and Coach Meekins didn't get along, we just couldn't agree on anything. And I had Waco at 1 o'clock set. Coach McGuire over at Waco had us as the slot for that game, whoever won. And yeah, I think it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes for us and maybe 3 hours for them. And they didn't consider that neutral. So we kept him hauling around, and we could never commit. So the Austin Westlake group, Austin Westlake and Katie Taylor are playing there at the 1 o'clock slot. They gave me till 1 o'clock on Sunday to finalize it, and I couldn't get.
Yeah, we all thought a bunch of people went to that Concrete Cowboy and just enjoyed the atmosphere at the Star. And everyone was thinking, hey, we're going to be traveling to Waco. And then
well, I had it, and they wouldn't agree on it. So, and I was agreeable to go to Waco. But then when he was making me go another hour down the road, I was ready to flip on it. And we did flip. Like I said, I won a kind of important one, but I didn't win the most important one. So hopefully everybody forgives me. And I'll say this about the history of Geyer. I've lost 3 home and home flips in our history. I lost the one to Lubbock to go to Friendship. I lost the one in Abilene to go to Abilene Cooper in 09. The Friendship was in 08, and then I lost the Marcus one, which is not too far. And we're 3-0 on every flip I lose. So we're planning on being 4-0, and hopefully some folks go to Houston and watch us go 4-0.
Coach, thanks for explaining that, because I know it was confusing for me, and I know most fans probably just scratching their heads. So thank you for explaining that. Well, we have to play outdoors this week, but the good news is the football gods are shining down on us. Looks like it's going to be about 65, 70 degrees and sunny. So, the elements aren't really a concern. Were you ever worried about, being outdoors in a big game like this? Was that a concern at all?
Now, I'll say that Coach Meekins, the head coach for Spring Westfield, and I, we both watched the weather pretty diligently, and we neither one of us wanted to go outdoors if it turned out to be bad weather, because we had a spot at NRG and we had a spot at Star, and if the weather was going to be bad, then we're going to one of those two places. So yeah, you don't want the weather to play a factor in a semifinal ball game and go play in the state championship next week.
Coach, I know you're leaving out in the morning. What are the plans for the road trip? I know the boys don't really have really much, if any, experience. A night on the road. They'll be in a hotel overnight. Any unique plans there? Will they be 2, 3, 4 to a room? How will that be set up?
Well, I'll say this. There's a reason why. And when you play college football, whether you play on the road or at home, they get you out of your surroundings and they put you in a hotel. So if you're playing, just say you go to Oklahoma State and you're playing at Stillwater that night, on a Saturday, well, Friday night, they take you out of your dorm room, they take you out of your apartment or your home, and they put you up in a home hotel. And they do that just to get you away from distractions, to keep the focus on the main thing. And so we're going to have a great itinerary. And Ben ISD does a great job of taking care of us. I mean, we're not without good accommodations. We're not without feeding our kids the right way. Jamie Wilson and Susan Albert and Joey Florence do a great job of making it easy for us on this trip. So we're going to have a great itinerary, much like a college. We're going to get out of here and get down there for a walkthrough, eat right before, eat right after, have more meals at the hotel, and then